Hey, it's Trey Benson with the Arizona Cardinals, and you listen to Fantasy Football Counselor.
Welcome to the show, guys. Major episode here today. We got Trey Benson, top rookie running back prospect in the NFL this year. Guys, this is a big episode. He's on the show. Today, we're talking about five must-have sleepers. And again, I'm super excited to have Trey on the show, who's also going to be at the Fantasy Sports Summit. Guys, this is the only channel giving you the truth and the only channel bringing actual NFL athletes on the show. I'm over the moon excited about today's show. You got to tune into the whole thing, especially the part with Trey Benson, because he's actually really shocked when I call him a sleeper. You got to see his face reaction. So guys, I'm super excited. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Slap it, tap it, smash it. I said it backwards this time, okay? Smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up, and of course, comment below. Leave a comment below. Let me know a sleeper that you like. I want to make this super interactive, okay? Super fun episode. We're talking running back must-haves that are sleepers, okay? Hit the thumbs up. And again, guys, if you haven't gotten 16-round drafts, which is sleepers, breakouts, auto players, draft, each trend, everything laid out on a silver platter, guys. 16 rounds is the game changer. It'll put you light years ahead of the sheep, aka the consensus. You get a printable cheat sheet. You have full mock drafts. I do everything for you, lay out all the sleepers. Guys, it's on a silver platter for you. No more consensus sheep's rankings. That is old school. Anyone giving you rankings based on copy and paste, they're lying to you. Okay, guys? Grab 16 rounds. I've linked it below. And I'm telling you guys, light years ahead of the sheep. Okay? So let's dive into this here. Let's talk about 5 must-have running back sleepers. I'll start off with the first one here. And then when we get, you already know Trey Benson is one of these guys. We'll get to him soon, okay, guys? So buckle up. We'll get to him very shortly. Okay, first running back, absolute must-have sleeper. I personally don't have him. Now you're saying, well, Joe, well, you don't have him. How is he a must-have? I did a bunch of drafts. I ended up missing out on him because there's a chance that I have a little bit of uncertainty. The guy was Ramondre Stevenson, by the way. So Stevenson is the first sleeper here. The reason I'm a little bit hesitant on Stevenson is simply because of the offense. But let's talk stats here. 186 attempts last year, 619 yards, 4 touchdowns, 184 attempts were wasted on Zeke Elliott last year. He shipped off. Stevenson has 0 competition. He's got Gibson there. Antonio, a.k.a. Fumbles Gibson, okay? He's on the roster. So I look at Stevenson sitting at RB 19. And, you know, if you go that 0 RB and if you're kind of heavy on wide receiver, Stevenson's a viable option that's going to be efficient and has some upside. Now, prior to the NFL draft, there was talk about him saying, like, I really want to be the workhorse on this team. I want to get the load. And sure enough, he came out of the NFL draft untouched. Like, there isn't a guy that I think is going to challenge him. They got Kevin Harris, JaMychal Hasty, Antonio Gibson. Obviously, the question mark offense with, you know, Drake May as possible quarterback. We got Jacoby Brissett, who's probably going to start the season. But you're looking at a guy that's primed for a ton of volume on paper in a new offense that may not rely on the committee. We don't know how this offense is going to run with Belichick gone. They might go a direction where they say, Stevenson's our man, and he's an efficient guy. He just didn't get as much volume as he could have last year. I think that changes this year. It's going to be interesting, but I think Stevenson is a bit of a sleeper, you know? Again, RB 19, top 10 upside potentially. When I say sleeper, I mean, like, he's just not really talked about. And again, a big part of that is that suspect offense. The wide receivers are question mark in New England. We got Jalen Polk. We got, you know, Demario Douglas. We don't know what's going on. Nobody really knows. But if you want to, like, roll the dice on a guy that could be a top 10 finisher and could get a ton of volume, it's Stevenson. He's just being slept on in general, okay? Second guy here, big time sleeper, RB 23. Okay, so you get this guy round 5 to 6, depending. The guy I'm talking about is Zamir White, a.k.a. Zeus. Now, this is one of those guys that could absolutely take off. Could be a top 5 running back in the NFL, okay? Or completely bust, which, again, I've looked at the odds. I've looked at kind of like the scenario there, and I take a look at who's in that committee with him. Like, what's the situation like? I kind of feel out that depth chart. I look at the talent, okay? He's got 0. When I say 0, I mean 0 competition, okay? They've got Alexander Madison. They got Dylan Luby. There's Laube, L-A-U-B. I call him Dylan Lube. I don't know. They got Amir Abdullah there, okay? They've got no competition. Again, Madison is a failed failed starter. The guy was a starter last year and had 0 touchdowns. Like, I don't know how else to tell you how bad Madison is. Okay? He comes in as a depth piece. Zamir White, I'm going to say this last time, was a beast at the end of last season. 22 attempts, 25 attempts. Like, this guy was just he was the number 1 running back in attempts the past, if you add up his attempts over the past 3 to 4 weeks of the season last year, okay? They got rid of Josh Jacobs. 230 plus attempts are freed up. Zamir is going to eat. Bottom line, end of discussion. He's being slept on. You almost again, it's just because of the risk of we don't know what to get out of Zamir White and what's going to happen again with this offense. It's like this guy has that top 5 potential. You almost feel like going 0 RB and making Zamir your RB1, but there's just that uncertainty. That's why I feel warm and fuzzy grabbing a workhorse and making Zamir. Now, he's typically my RB3 on my rosters, which I'm pretty comfortable with. So again, Zamir White, I still think he's being slept on, okay? I still think it's one of those guys that's kind of borderline, could complete. I don't think he's going to be a Dameon Pierce from last year. I don't feel that. I'm not getting that vibe. I'm feeling like a boom upside. Now, if you see his gym pictures, man, this guy looks like a monster in the gym. He's focused. He's ready. They call him Zeus. That's all I got to say, and there's no competition, Zamir White, okay? Next guy is also coming on the show. Look out. He's coming very soon. Is Tajay Spears, RB29. Listen, I've talked about this in a lot of videos. I'm going to continue to talk about Tajay Spears, okay? And what I'm going to say about him is this. I still think they're going to use Pollard, right? But I think they're going to go with the hot hand. I believe with certainty that Spears is the guy. Similar to Madison and some of these other running backs, they're just failed RB1s. They're just not built to be an RB1. We saw that with Pollard, who was being drafted 8th overall last year. And I told you, do not draft Tony Pollard round 1. And everybody, the consensus, well, I'm telling you, all the other analysts were saying Pollard. I was like, no Pollard. And he busted last year. Okay? He had his chance. Now Tajay gets his chance. Now they did pay Pollard, so they're going to have to play political a little bit. We paid this guy, the front office be like, hey man, we paid this guy, let's run Pollard. And Pollard's going to fail and he's going to fumble and they're going to run the hotter hand. If they want to win, you play Spears. Spears is the better out of the back, drafted in the 3rd round by the team he's currently on. Pollard drafted in the 4th round in 2019, not last year, to replace Derrick Henry. In 2019, in the 4th round by the team he's no longer on, that he failed as a backup and as a starter. So Pollard's out. Spears is in, and I absolutely love him, okay? We're going to get to the Trey Benson running back sleeper. I'm going to put him on the show right now. Before I do, guys, head over to mybookie.ag. Use code FFC right now. Get set up. This is the site I believe in, I trust. You get up to a $1,000 welcome bonus. Guys, this is massive. Get ready, guys. Get ready to rock. I'm telling you guys right now, this is the site for your bets, okay? And you might as well go create an account, put your first deposit in. There's a lot of perks with the code FFC. Go create an account and make this your home for bets. Now, I'm going to be revealing some of my locks of the week on the show, on the Saturday DFS show. So make sure you guys are plugged in and you've got your account created at mybookie.ag. Go do that right now. Use code FFC. There's a bar here. You can scan it and away you go, guys. Enjoy. Go create an account. You'll be very, very happy with this site. Remember, use the promo code FFC. I've linked it right here below. Check it out. There's the website. There's the code. Go create an account, put that deposit down, and bam, you're set for the season. Football's back. Something to get excited about, okay? There's the plug. Love these guys. Been using them for years. The only site I use for my bets, okay? Now, let's get to the Benson interview. I'm going to roll the clip. We'll just get right to it. And before we do, I really kind of want to get the questions out to Trey Benson as a fantasy head. So I made him aware he's a sleeper. You'll see. You'll watch the interview, get you kind of a good feel. But I made it clear to him, okay? And I even spoke to him off the camera. I said, listen, man, you're the RB1. Go get it. Like, I'm rooting for you. So super nice guy, by the way. In the video, he comes off quiet, you could tell. But I like him. He's got his head down, focused, determined. And he's confident, man. He's gonna have a good season. I'm telling you, he's the starter. Don't waste a pick on James Conner. But anyway, I'll roll the interview, guys. Enjoy it. And I'll come back to you after this interview to give you number 5, the 5th sleeper. Okay, roll it. Trey Benson, let's get it. All right, the next sleeper, I thought I'd get him on the show. I'm excited to have him on the show, man. I'm super excited for him for the season. And he is a sleeper. Do you like being called sleeper, Trey? I mean, it's kind of like it's kind of a crazy term. You're being slept on in fantasy right now.
Yeah, I love being an underdog. Not many expectations, so I like surprising people.
I'm excited for you. They have consensus. Do you play fantasy by any chance? Have you played it before? Are you familiar with fantasy football?
No, I'm not familiar with it. I never played it before.
Okay, so every year they come out, the mainstream kind of comes out with these consensus rankings, right? So just so you know, just for context, you're sitting as RB 42 in PPR, which is 1 point per reception. They consider you RB 42, and like you're like 140 overall, which is crazy because I think you're way more talented. By the way, I got you. This is way off. I got a little bit off tangent. I got you as the RB1 for Arizona. They got James Conner coming ahead of you. And I know you guys are friends. You're on the same team. I'm not trying to start anything there, but I'm personally, this is my opinion. I got you as the RB1. Just want to get that on the record, okay? So I'm excited for you for the season, man. I really am. You pumped about the season?
Yes, I'm pumped for the season. I know they're coming off a losing season and they got a lot to prove. And it kind of remind me of the Florida State season when I transferred there when they was 5-7. They was coming off a 5-7 season. And we came and shocked the world the next 2 seasons. So I'm excited for this season for sure.
Yeah, for those who don't know, you transferred from Oregon to Florida. I want to know how that transition impacted your career. Was this a positive move? Was it something that you go back and regret, or is it something that really helped propel your career moving to Florida?
It helped me prepare my career for sure. Coach Norvell, he took a chance on me out the transfer portal because I didn't really have film at Oregon, but
Yeah.
Coach Norvell chance on me at Florida State, and he just threw me out there on the field. I ain't had no choice but to develop.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, man. I mean, Florida, and then you played with Keon Coleman, of course, right?
Oh
For,
yeah,
for those who don't know, and again, I'm talking to you like a fantasy head. So I'm like, we're kind of shallow with that. We're like, hey, tell us fantasy. I'm really excited about you, and I'm also excited about Keon. I want to still go back and talk about you, but how excited are you for your fellow older teammate Keon Coleman? Do you see a high ceiling with him as well in the NFL?
oh yeah, for sure. Even off the field, he is smart. He know everything about the game of football. One of the smartest people I've met. He know offensive schemes, defensive schemes. He know
Right.
what the defense do, and he just a talented player. He good overall person, good personality. I know you've seen him all over social media.
Yeah.
He- that's one of my guys though. We talk from time to time. We be on FaceTime, on group FaceTime with some of the Florida State guys, and I'm excited to see what he can do this year. I'm not gonna be surprised because I know that he got it in him. I seen him at practice. I seen him go. I seen him make some unbelievable catches, and I'm excited for him.
I watched tape on him and like he looks like Michael Jordan for the NFL. Like he looks so dynamic, he's exciting, and there's so much freed up volume there on that offense. And he's got Josh Allen throwing the ball. So again, I'm super excited about him. I want to get back to you here as well. I've studied your tape a little bit. You got a powerful running style. Your ability to break tackles pretty much second to none. I want to kind of get an idea because I'm really into the mental game for business rep podcast. I lead in fantasy football because I have a strong mentality. Because you're so good at breaking tackles, again, you're one of the best to do. And I admire running backs that really like to break tackles because I grew up watching Emmitt Smith. I'm a little older than you, maybe a lot older than you. Grew up watching Emmitt Smith. I love AP. Adrian Peterson was amazing. Carrying defenders. I want to kind of get into a little bit of your, diet, training, and also, briefly your mental game. What are you thinking when you're running? Something they come up with the term running hard. Are you thinking like I'm going to destroy the defender? Are you thinking I'm going to do this for me? Are you thinking like what is the thought process mentally when you're running?
Me personally, I want to get tackled. So really, I'm aware. So when you see me running, my eyes be buck all the time because I'm just locked in the whole time. And honestly, I'm just trying to. I don't think about punishing my opponent. I just be out there running. Honestly, just running angry. That's all I can really say. I don't really have a strategy. I just go out there and play my game.
I want to also, I'm curious, your team chemistry right now. You got Marvin Harrison Jr., one of the top wide receiver prospects. Dude, we're so excited about him for fantasy. He's coming off, just so you have some context, if you talk to him, he's coming off in the second round of fantasy drafts right now. Ultra excited about him. How is he also looking on the field? And also your chemistry so far, integrating with James Conner there, Kyler Murray. How is the dynamic kind of, working? I know we're getting into training camp now, but how has it been so far, the team dynamic?
Oh yeah, this past week that just passed last week we was in California together for like a week. We've been training, team bond and spending time with each other, and I've just been getting to know them a little better. Um, this team chemistry is gonna be through the roof this year for sure. That's why I'm really excited. And I've been around Marvin most. I've been around him the most this past month out of all the rookies. Like me and him been together this whole time. We've been competing on the field, trying to figure out who faster, but we'll figure out soon. So.
With respect to both players, do you see a major difference between him and Keon Coleman, or do you see both amazing as amazing talents? Because again, just for fantasy, I'm talking as a fantasy nerd here, okay? Keon Coleman is coming off round 8 in fantasy drafts, Harrison round 2. Is there like a day and night difference, or are they both extremely talented? What's kind of your opinion on both?
They both are extremely talented. Keon just a freak. He's a freak athlete for sure. Both of them a freak athlete, but Keon is a freak. He's a freak athlete, and
Yeah.
Marvin, they're like he moves so fast. That, how big he is. He just moves so fast. He moves like he's 170, and he make unbelievable catches too. I seen his work ethic, and he is one of the hardest working people I know. And I
Yeah.
think I just met him, but every time we work out, every time I see him work out, every time I pay attention to him, he giving it 100%.
I'm so excited about this season, man. I'm excited to see you. I'm excited for your other rookie counterparts. Blake Corum's out there. I heard he's going to be doing amazing things, like a Kyron William coming out at the Fantasy Sports Summit as well. He's going to be on the same night you're on, and he's going to, have some competition there. There's a lot of RB battles. Even Josh Jacobs. He's got Marshawn Lloyd there, who looks like extraordinary talent as well. Got the speed. I've been doing a lot of research on my rookies. I know you probably can't answer this, but I just want to get an idea. Have they talked a little bit on your target share, volume share in regards to, is this going to be a committee? Is there like a percentage, or is it kind of hot hand rides, or is there any type of expectation? Have you been told anything, or has anything made public with you and James Conner in regards to volume?
No, I have no idea. I just been trying to take everything in and be a sponge and just learn really. I have no idea.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out. I think training camp determines that, and I'm excited, man. I heard James Conner's a good dude, and but again,
Okay.
I'm a little bit of a Trey Benson biased here, so I'm rooting for you, man. Also, fantasy community yet? Have you heard any like? So here's the thing. I want to be transparent because you haven't. You said you didn't do much fantasy before. What ends up happening, again, it's not personal. Some people get to be jerks on Twitter, including myself sometimes. If my player does well, we kind of say, oh man, that player sucked, this and that. Have you had anything on Twitter? Because you haven't played yet. Just so you know, I'm giving you a heads up. The Twitter community, the Instagram, they're like, man, you sucked on my team. Are you prepared for that? And are you going to embrace it like guys like Austin Eckler did, who kind of embraced it, kind of built a brand on fantasy football? I love you guys. And he's kind of loved in the fantasy community. Or are you going to kind of shrug it off and say, dudes, leave me alone, let me play? How do you feel you're going to adapt, or do you have no expectations at this point?
I ain't got no expectations. I'm gonna just still go out there and play my game. Still go out there and mature and learn.
Yeah.
I'm a rookie this year, so I'm really just trying to learn. Learn this first year, and once I get the opportunity, though, I'm gonna take off. So.
Just understand that we have your best interest at heart, because when you do well, we do well. So it's not like, so if we say, oh man, like you didn't do well this week, it's like, okay, well, because you've put a touchdown in reality, right? It translates well in fantasy. So it works for both of us. So we want you to succeed in reality. Of course, it's also going to help in fantasy. A couple more questions here, really. How do you compare yourself? And I don't know if you do want to compare yourself to anybody, to maybe a current player now? Because again, as fantasy heads, we're looking at you like, who's this guy going to be like? Is he going to be better than this guy? Like, we're honestly judging our players because we want you on our rosters. We got, our leagues on the line. Who was kind of your idol, let's say, growing up, and who do you kind of think your game closely resembles more to past wise and currently? Like, are you more like Emmitt Smith, and in the current game, are you more kind of like a Saquon type player? Right? Or do you have are you just yourself kind of thing?
Uh, growing up, I love Adrian Peterson. Like, if you watch my film from high school, like once he get in that open field, his head get the bob in it. That was my head used to do in high school. So
Yeah.
I used to love Adrian Peterson growing up, and currently, I think of myself honestly. I don't really compare myself to nobody in the current era, but I know back then, Adrian Peterson for sure.
Yeah, man. It's he's one of the best to ever do it. He played longer into his career. Again, this is kind of obvious here to some degree, but I want to ask. I just want to kind of see your mentality and kind of what your goals are. What is your kind of like your goal going in? Like, and I know it's early. Are you thinking greatest of all time? Like, I'm sure every running back comes in with huge aspirations and stuff like that. But what is kind of your goal? What's kind of the big dream? in the NFL. You're here, you've hit the pinnacle. I mean, to make it here is huge. Now that you've made it here, kind of what's your goal here? What's the mindset now?
Uh, really just continue to learn how to be a pro. Uh, my first year, and once you learn how to be a pro, then everything else will fall in place. Building my team chemistry with my teammates, and eventually win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you seem really focused. That's what I like about you, man. You just seem, head down, focused, and that those are the players I really admire and I really like. Guys like, grew up watching guys like Larry Fitzgerald, that character, even David Johnson, who endorsed the brand years ago. Really nice guy. Went to his house in Arizona, by the way. And ironically, just to let you know, that was the year he broke out in 2016, had his big year. And I met him, I think it was the summer of, that year prior to the season. So hoping that same energy goes this way, man. I'm really excited for you. I believe it will. I believe you're going to crush it this year. But just let you know, this is a sleeper episode. You are being slept on, which is good. And hopefully you carry that and just wow people, because I think there's going to be a lot of excitement with Arizona, man. I'm super pumped watching you guys. I want to see Marvin Harrison out there. It's going to be an exciting offense to watch, man. It really is.
It is. I'm really excited too. We got a great group of guys, and I can't wait.
I can't wait, man. So thanks for being on, guys. This is Trey Benson, guys. Go give him a follow and make sure you draft him on your fantasy teams. Coming off typically round 8. If you can get him a round or two earlier, man, you're probably getting the steal of the draft. Where would you draft yourself, Trey? I'm guessing you draft yourself first overall, right?
Yeah, first or second round, good for me. I'm gonna educate myself on the fantasy football stuff, though. I'm not really educated right now, but I'm gonna start looking into it though, for sure.
Yeah, man. I'm the counselor. I'll counsel you on it, and any off time, just hit me up, man. I'll give you some advice. But again,
I,
you're gonna get a lot of heat from fans, and some people are just trolling. Don't take it personally. They're just trolling. And they'll come on and say, "Oh man, you didn't do well for my fantasy team." And like Kyron Williams, like for example, last year off the radar. Now everybody knows who Kyron is, so it's a positive thing for your brand. There's so many eyeballs. Like I said, when you win, we all win. Fantasy wins, reality wins. It all hand in hand, So yeah, Trey, thank you for coming on, man. If you don't mind staying on for a second, as we get off here, but thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing you, man, in the season. Thank you,
thank
man.
you, Joe.
Trey Benson, everybody. Man, I love talking to NFL athletes, and Trey Benson, such a classy guy, focused, hard worker. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview. I got Tajay Spears coming on, Kyrie Williams, Rashid Shaheed, and all these guys are going to actually be at the Fantasy Sports Summit. So if you haven't got your ticket, secure it, and you have a chance to ask them questions, and you're entered for a PS5 giveaway just by simply securing your seat. The seats are limited. Grab your ticket to the Sports Summit, guys. It is going to be exciting. All right, let's get to the last guy here. Marshawn Lloyd is my fifth one here. 5'9", 220, 23 years old out of USC. Guys, this guy is a beast. He's a monster. He's a speedster. And Josh Jacobs is the starter in Green Bay. But looking at Marshawn Lloyd sitting as RB 51. Trey Benson, RB 41, 42, right? You got to take a look at these guys and look at the value. There is some upside here with Marshawn Lloyd this season. I'm just not, let's put it this way. I was liking Josh Jacobs as a round 2 to 3 ADP guy, but I seriously got turned off with Josh Jacobs. Like straight up, I'm like, as soon as Marshawn Lloyd was drafted, I'm like, I don't like this, okay? If you look at his stats last year, Jacobs, we have 223 attempts, just over 800 yards. He played like garbage, and he kind of went back to the Jacobs of his rookie season was okay, then his a couple years in there. Kind of a mediocre Josh Jacobs we saw a couple years ago before his kind of pinnacle year 2 years ago, right? The Josh Jacobs before that. He's never been like outstanding and good, right? I'm not a Josh Jacobs ambassador. Mind you, he's in a great situation, young team, Jordan Love, good offensive weapons, not outstanding offensive weapons, but good offensive weapons. There's some upside there with Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, if he stays healthy, Romeo Dobbs. It's wild, man. It's just like, I don't know if I believe in Jacobs enough to draft him early. So I'm fading Jacobs, and if I can grab Lloyd later, I just feel if they run both, I think Lloyd could outshine him. But also, it could be another Jahmyr Gibbs-Montgomery situation where you're getting the Gibbs for a value, if that makes sense. Okay, that's the best way I kind of explain the situation. I'm not saying Marshawn Lloyd is as good as Gibbs. Gibbs is absolutely phenomenal, but I see that type of dynamic going where Marshawn Lloyd comes on, breaks out for a 20-yard run, looks explosive, his hands are going to be amazing, and they're kind of like working him a little bit more. really, really reducing the load from Josh Jacobs and pushing him out of his ADP, making him a fantasy football bust. So that's my thoughts on it. Marshawn Lloyd, RB51, great value. Stash him later as an RB5 or at least, okay? Now, again, smash it, tap it. Let me know what you guys think of the episode. What do you guys think of Trey Benson? He's awesome. I'm super excited to have him. I love when he was like shocked. He's like, you're wide receiver. You're running back 42. He's kind of like, huh, what? So it's like, it's nice to make these guys aware and make them know that fantasy and reality, they go hand in hand. We want him to succeed. So I thank Trey Benson for coming on the show. You can get to see him at the Fantasy Sports Summit. Grab your ticket, grab 16 rounds, guys, and hit the thumbs up. Show some love for the channel. It means a lot for me, guys. And turn on that bell. All right, guys? We'll talk soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's go, sleepers. Let's go, Tajay. Let's go, Trey Benson. And hope you guys have a great day. Fantasy football is back. Have a great weekend, everybody. Talk soon.